Managing the foreign worker is also taken on a bit of a political edge. I'll ask you specifically on the banking and financial sector. There's this perception that there's a lot of foreign talent there. And I think last year MES also introduced a scheme to try to encourage banks to build their own local talent. What's your take there? I mean, in the financial sector, what kind of levels do you expect? Have we built up enough expertise in the locals to be able to take on some of the senior management in the banks?
I think in the financial sector, and in fact more broadly in the economy, we've seen a bit too much of a bulge at the middle end of the workforce. In other words, not those with sort of top expertise or specialized expertise, but the lower end of the employment pass holders, as well as a significant growth in S-pass holders. So that middle end has grown rapidly. And that's not satisfactory, which is why we've tightened policy for both S-pass and employment pass holders, more discriminating in terms of their qualifications, their experience, and they've also got to be paid well enough so as not to depress the pay of Singaporeans. That's basically the situation in the financial sector as well. At the top end, we are a global financial center. That's the way in which we are relevant to the rest of Asia and the rest of the world. And you do need people with a very high degree of expertise, people who've cut their teeth in other financial centers and are able to be part of winning teams. That's very important for the Singaporeans in the financial sector. But we have to ensure a level playing field. A level playing field both at the middle end as well as at the more senior levels. Make sure that Singaporeans are fairly considered, and more than just being considered for new hires and new appointments, that Singaporeans are getting the attention they need by way of career development. In other words, when you're a young Singaporean, be it in the financial sector or elsewhere, your employer must have their eye on you to see what experience you need, what are the ways in which you can develop your career, what overseas postings would be in your interests. That should be the attitude. The Singapore core is not just a set of numbers. It's a Singapore core that has to be developed and has to be developed proactively.
What are your thoughts on how do we strike this balance between fair and not, I guess, being perceived as protectionist? And, are you looking at any countries in particular, as a model for us to adopt?
MOM is studying this very seriously. We need some form of labour market test. Make sure it allows us to get the expertise we need so that you have the right mix of expertise, local and foreign, in all teams. The real competition is not between Singaporeans and foreigners in Singapore. The much larger competition is the competition we're having with emerging cities and advanced cities, all of whom are in the same game. Even the Chinese cities who 15, 20 years ago were competing in a lower league are now increasingly in the same league in a range of white-collar jobs. So that's the real competition. Very large numbers of qualified and aspiring workforces out there in other cities that we're competing with. So we've got to make sure that we've got strong teams in Singapore with the right mix of foreigners and Singaporeans, and that foreigners must be people with real expertise. I think it's possible. I think it's possible to find the right balance. Stay open, but make sure Singaporeans are fairly considered and, very importantly, proactively developed in their careers. MES is serious about it in the financial sector. MOM is serious about it economy-wide. I think we can find the right balance.